Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much, Bayele. Thank you very much, everyone. If you are excited to be here and you want to really just learn about how to write your book, can I ask that you type Y for yes in the chat? If you are able to do that, type Y for yes in the chat. So what I want to do right now is to just kind of take us through a journey. And the question we want to ask ourselves is this. I have a book inside me. How can I get it out? I have a book inside me. How can I get it out? And that's exactly what it is. I will move slowly. If you have any questions or queries, just type it in the chat, and I will give some room for Q&A as well. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to share my screen right now, and then we're then just going to take it on a step at a time. I've got a book inside me. How can I get it out? Just a little bit about myself. Thank you very much. That was an amazing introduction by Bayeli. I was almost thinking, who was she actually talking about? Um, I I'm a purpose. I call myself a purpose coach, really, because one of the callings that God has given me and the team that I work around is to help people discover what their purpose in life is, and then also help them to walk through it, what their purpose in life is, and help them to walk through it. So I call myself a purpose and a business coach. Well, I get some dimensions of entrepreneurial or being an entrepreneur that goes with it, because we have to manage the resources that has been given to us for effectiveness as well. So, of course, I get to speak, and I am an Amazon best-selling author. But the big deal is not about me, but about the book you have on the inside of you. I also happen, by the grace of God, to be an associate pastor at New Wine, London. You've heard that already, and this is one information that I want you to keep. This is my email address, david@adabale.com. If you have any questions, queries, or anything you want to just to dive in a little bit more as we go on this journey. So I have a book inside me. How can I get it out? 10 questions to ask yourself and get answers to if you are considering writing the book. And what I'm going to do on this journey is give some recommendations as well. Give recommendations and give figures and give pointers that helps you to be able to answer that question. So this is a journey we're going on. We're going to, because your book writing is a journey. From when you have a book in your heart, or you believe God has laid it in your heart for you to write a book, you start a journey. And after, we're going to talk about the journey. We're going to talk about building a team, because book writing takes more than just you. We're going to talk about the marketing about it so that you can engage with people. I'll give you some case studies, and then I'll also give options of how I can help you as well. Maybe you're looking for somebody to just hold your hand through the entire process. Now, book writing is a journey, and there is like a 10-step journey that I want to take you through one by one. And these are questions you need to ask yourself if you're planning to write a book. Let me say something about book writing. Authors determine the future. I'll say that one more time. Authors determine the future. Why? Because you see, those who will live in the future have never lived in the future before. So when they come to a consciousness or an awareness of themselves or what they need to do, they will have to refer back to a written material to teach them how to live, and then they will decide how to live from there. Let me give you a very, very good example. If Moses did not write his encounter with God, you and I would not know about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. I have my son 10 years old. I take him on a school run every day. And one thing we love doing for 10, 15 minutes during that school run, which I enjoy, is watching a 10-minute video about each book of the Bible. So today we started watching the book about the First and Second Kings. Yesterday was First and Second Samuel, and before that was the book of Joshua. And my 10-year-old is able to understand the books of the Bible because somebody wrote the Bible when they had that encounter of God and that revelation of God. So that's one reason. Number two, many of us have enjoyed the book of Psalms. I mean, if you're watching me right now and you know that the book of Psalms has been a blessing to you, just kind of nod. Yeah, just kind of know that, yes, the book of Psalms. Bible scholars tell us that King David wrote approximately 50% of the book of Psalms. And many of the Psalms of David were his dialogue with God during different situations of life that was documented. If it was not documented and it is written, you and I will not have the book of Psalms today. So my question is this: what experiences of life are you going through right now that someone needs to experience it in 50 years' time? That needs to be written down to for the purpose of posterity. So I say authors determine the future. Let me give you a third example. Apostle Paul, Bible scholars tell us, wrote approximately two-thirds of the New Testament. And with all the exploit that God did through Apostle Paul, what is the most longer lasting are not even the churches that he planted. And he planted churches. They're not even the number of meetings that he had. And boy, he had loads of meetings. They're not even the number of times he preached about the grace of God and about the love of our Lord Jesus Christ and the gospel about our Lord Jesus Christ. Do you know what is still standing today? Were the books he wrote. In fact, he didn't even write them as books. He just wrote them as letters. We call them epistles. The rest is history. My question is this: who will need to read your book in 5 years, 10 years, or read your story in 15 or 20 years' time? Authors determine the future. So let's just go on this journey. Let's talk about the 10 questions. And you see on your screen right now, from left to right, on the bottom left-hand corner, there is what I'm dealing with. Number one, book vision. And then the rest are great. As I go on this journey, you see how we answer each of those questions. And the question number one you need to ask yourself is this: does the world need another book? And my answer is yes, yes, yes. Does the world need my book? Yes, the world need your book. Why? Because whatever experience you have had, you are the only person that can reach that specific audience at that location during that timing through a process that comes through your experience that they will be able to find relatable. That is the reason why you need to write your book. So, who are the people that I think should write a book? They fall into one of the three categories or a combination of it. Number one, are you here and you have a personal revelation or a personal experience of life that you know that you want to use it to serve posterity? I want to tell you this. There is nothing that happens in our life that is accidental. There is nothing that happens in our life that is coincidental. I dare say everything we have gone through in life, good, bad, and ugly, has been designed not only to uplift us and for us to overcome that challenge, but to use it to be a blessing to other people and empower them as well. That's why the Bible says, for we know all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Number one, if you have a personal experience of life or personal revelation of God, a special message, you need to write a book. Number two, if you have specialized knowledge, a specialized knowledge as in how to do X, Y, Z, specialized knowledge, you need to write a book about it. Number three, if you want to write something for posterity, I call it writing for a legacy, you need to write a book. Either one or a combination of these three, you definitely need to write a book. So, does the world need another book? Yes. So, what do you need to do? You need to write a vision for your book. Let me give you a pointer. If you want to write a vision for your book to help you know what your book is about, I call it the 5 W's HNS. 5 W's HNS. That is what, why, who, when, where, how, now, and the support you require to get your book done. If you need more information about that, you send me an email. I'll show you my email later on today. Question number two: what does it cost? What does it cost to produce your book? Because book writing comes at a cost. Let me give you an idea. It will cost you from about £300 to about £3,000, depending on what it is that you want. But the book itself, about £3,000 to £3,000, depending on what you have, what you can do yourself, the skills you have, maybe things that friends and family can do for free. But I think that gives you a very, very good range as well. Number three, how do you even get down and write your book? This is what I want to say. Book writing is like building a house. You need to lay the foundation, number one, and then you now need to start building on the foundations until you have the walls. And after that, you put a roof on it, and then you put all the plastering, then the plumbing and the electrics go into it before the furniture come in. Oh, another way to see your book writing is to see like a big picture. I don't know if you like jigsaw puzzles. I can't stand it. My wife loves it. I cannot stand it. I don't have the patience for it. See it as a big picture. And what you do is that you get a hold of the big picture, the whole message of your book. you break it down into chapters, book into chapters. And then you break your chapters down into sections. And then you break each section down into paragraphs. And then you break each paragraph down into sentences. So let me give you, I'm just giving just pointers here. So let me give you just the of an average book. If you're thinking, okay, where do I even start from? An average book will be about 30,000 words roughly, plus or minus 5,000 words. Some could be more, some could be less. But a book that you want to print, not just an ebook, about 30,000 words. And we recommend that 30,000 words would be between, say, 6 to 12 chapters. So you think about this 30,000 words, that would be by 120, 150 pages. You break it down into 6 to 12 chapters, let's say 10 in this case. And each of those 10 chapters, you break each of those 10 chapters down into about six to eight paragraph, into 6 to 8 sections, and each sections you break it down about 4 to 6 paragraphs, and then the paragraphs will be made up of about 4 sentences that communicate a concept. That's how you knuckle down to write the book. If you have any other queries or you want more clarity, let me know, because I want to be able to give you a big picture while we're here together. Question number 4, how do I market test my book? Very, very important. You see, many times when we are writing a book, it looks amazing to us, but there's no point for the book to be amazing to us if our audience cannot engage with it, because we don't write our book for ourselves, we write it for a particular audience. But that is the question number 4, market testing your book. Because very, very quickly, once you finish your initial manuscript, you want some people to read it and give you a feedback so that it makes sense to your audience, because we don't write our books for ourselves. Let me just pause a little break, and I hope you're finding this useful, and I hope I'm not moving too fast. By the way, this slide we made available. If you send me an email, I'll give you access on I'll let you know how to get access to this material. Okay, number 5, PR. How can I manage the PR campaign of my book? Because the success of your book is not dependent on the content. It's almost very likely that the content of your book will be very good. It is how people perceive it. How would the world even begin to know about your book? That is the 5th question you need to ask yourself and get answers to. The 6th one is your book admin. Your book, the administrative process required for your book. You need to register your book. You need to get what is called an ISBN for the book, which comes with a barcode. That is a unique identifier for your book, so that wherever in the world anybody wants to get a hold of your book, there's a unique identifier that is registered on a global database of books. Ooh, can you just imagine? I'm sure you're going to find that so interesting when your book gets to that point, because that means you go down on record as an author. Let me say one other thing. You cannot really be considered an authority on a subject until you become an author in it. And I want to say this, there are moments you write your book, your life will change. It's like having a child. I'm blessed with 3 wonderful children. I love them so much, a 19-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I will tell you this, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, the moment you have those children, your life changes forevermore. But it's a very, very good thing as well. Question number 7 to ask yourself, the book editing. After you've written your book now needs to be edited. I would normally recommend 3 levels of editing. The first one will be for, depending on your audience, will be things for about terms, terminologies, languages. If you are writing it for a general public, they want to break it down and remove any jargon to make it very, very easy. But if you are writing based on a particular industry or a particular subject, then of course you want to use terms and the language that the audience can engage with. The second level of the editing is just the structure and the flow of your book. Your book needs to run smoothly. There should be a structure to it, right? That makes it quite easy to read from one flow to the other. And there should just be a flow and something that makes it interesting, so that it doesn't come across as being boring, so that it doesn't sound like eating the same toast and marmalade every day. Well, I guess some people like toast and marmalade, right? But at least the structure, that's the second level of editing. And then the final level of editing is for grammatical, structural, and typographical errors, because definitely you don't want any of those typographical errors on your book. Let's go to question number 8 to ask yourself, how can I publish my book? What is the publishing of your book? The publishing of your book is when you put it on a platform that the world can access. That is the publishing of your book. At this stage, I would normally recommend that you get someone to do it because it could get a bit very finicky sometimes. I would recommend you get someone who is a publisher or somebody who does this a bit more professionally, get them involved in this process as well. Of course, they will know your audience, where to reach your audience, because the way you're going to reach your audience determine the platform in which you publish on, etc. as well. Question number 9. How can I launch my book? How can I launch my book? And that is answering the question, how can the world see my book? Because, hey, the purpose of your book is for it to transform the world, for the world to be able to see it. Is that right? Now, with each of these questions, if you have each of these questions I'm bringing up that you need to get answers to, if you have queries or comments, please put it in the chat. The host will read it out. I want to be able to give answers to some of these questions as well. I'm about to round up where I am. Question number 10. Okay, for those who have launched their book, or if you have not even written your book, the question is, okay, I've written my book, so what? Well, what happens is that the end of writing your book is the end of a particular process. The next process is really just building a brand around it and let the world engage with it and let your book really transform lives. Now, those are the 10 questions you need to ask yourself about your book, and I'll be glad to even support you further. At this stage, I want to take a break and I want to talk about building a team around your book. So I want you to know that building a team around your book is very, very important. Why? Because book writing is a team sport. Therefore, you want to involve as many people in that process as possible. And you see, the people you want to involve in that process, they fall into 3 categories. The first ones are the ones that will help you with inspiration. So, I encourage you can get a mastermind. For some of you, it might be your spouse, if you're married, or your children, or an uncle, or someone that you are bouncing ideas off to give you inspiration. Some of them you engage them one by one, some of them you engage them in a group. I think that is key. I'm an author of 7 books, and one thing I learned very quickly was the importance of involving other people in the process. If you have a book on the inside of you, you need to bring it out. The same way for those who have had children, physical children, you don't do the birth by yourself. Well, there are a few instances, but all things being equal, you don't give birth to your baby yourself. Hopefully, there are midwives there, or maybe your partner is there, or your parents, or a loved one. The more people we involve, the better it is. The second phase are those who are going to test your book and do proofreading and editors. You see, this first group, the production and inspiration, you can get friends and family to do it. But when you get into the PR and the marketing, the book cover design, the publishing, putting things on the web and everything, I recommend that you get professionals to do it for you so that your book is launched very well. We talk about your book journey. We talk about the importance of building a team around it. Let me tell you what is possible from one book. I will tell you, book writing is one of the greatest assets you can invest in your lifetime. And I'm talking from experience. What is possible from one book? From one book, you can produce blogs and social media materials, stuff for radio, audiobook, ebook, events, and even other books can come out of it. And all this I'm even talking from experience. My first book was titled Diamond Believer, and Diamond Believer gave birth to my fifth or sixth book. So books give birth to themselves if it is written very well. Every section in your book becomes a potential book or training material. Just to kind of flesh it up more, to give you a case study, this is what is possible from one book. From that one book that I had titled Diamond Believer, many things came out of it: blogs, ebooks, audiobooks, podcasts, videos. So from just writing one book, the moment you write one book, you've done what is the most difficult aspect of it. After that, it really just kind of gets easier. Are you with me? By the way, everything I am sharing in this session is written in a book. I will tell you how to get a hold of that book as well. Also, let's talk about the PR and the marketing of your book. The marketing of your book is not about the content, but about how the impression that that gives as well. So let me give you this case study. After the launch of the book Diamond Believer, it was important for us to create a brand. And that is why wherever you see a bright yellow and a dark black branding, you knew that was a Diamond Believer branding. After the book was done, the next thing that came was there was a need to be able to cater for teenagers. And that's where Diamond Believer for Teenagers came up. That was, it became a spin-off. And funny enough, I was not even thinking about it. So I wrote Diamond Believer for Teens with my 15-year-old daughter. By the way, I've written 7 books. I'm writing 5 books personally for myself right now. And I'm helping 5 people to write and publish their book as I speak right now. 5 projects that I'm working on right now, just about to sign up for the 6th person as well. The other thing that come out of a book is the merchandise that comes out of a book as well. And with the merchandise, that means it's not even just you are getting a message out. The message is in the book, but from the book, merchandise are produced from there to really just inspire others. Everything I share here, you can actually get a hold of it in this book. This book is titled, that's my 5th book, titled Is Your Book Ready? Step-by-step guide to writing, publishing, and marketing your next book. If you go onto my website and the QR code is there, you can take a hold of the QR code and you get a hold of the book. The book is 19, no, sorry, no, it's not 19, 14.99, and then you pay post and packaging. If you order it today, we'll work with you and put it in the post to you as well. What do you get from this book? Which is really the things that I've shared with you. You get how to clarify the vision for your book and set the vision for your book and identify the audience for your book. We take you through a process that helps you to understand the basics of, the running of your book. How much will it cost you? How much can you make from your book? I help you to draw up a plan, your project plan and market design, everything. How to track your book writing, how to design the market testing for your book, how to design a PR campaign for your book, everything. How to administer the legal aspects of your book, how to prepare for your book launch, how to plan for life after the book is released, because it does affect your lifestyle. You need to prepare for that. How to even break even. How much did it cost you? How can you make that money back so that you own a book that is technically free? It will help you to harness your book. If you're interested, increasing the revenue and the impact through it as well. I am coming to an end, and this is the end of my slide. What can I do? So, hey, you can get a hold of that book. You can scan to get the book, or you just go to my website, davidadabale.com/author. You see all my other books on there. You can read about them, blurbs. But most importantly, you can take a picture of this slide. That is my email address, david@davidadabale.com. I love book writing. I am passionate about book writing. But what gets me excited so much is not so much my own books, but actually helping someone, holding them in their hand and let them go through that maze. I wish I had someone. That's actually why I've taken that as a mission for myself and a team. I have a team that work with me. I wish I had someone that held my hand when I was writing my first book and say, David, it's okay. Because my experience was the first book I wrote, they were telling me it's not going to be possible. The deadline is too tight. Someone even said, nah, just get a front cover ready and show it and you let people know you are writing a book. The rest is history down the line. So how can I help you? I recommend you get a hold of this book. That would just, it's a guide. It has questions and answers and things that will really, really help you on there. It has questions that you can ask yourself, and my email address is there. But you know what? You might just want an informal chat. You know what? Go ahead, send me an email. Or you know what? And my social media is there as well. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I can help you to design the journey for your book. Are you with me? I can also help you to just the book production. Oh, you want to get involved with the production? I can help you in the coaching. Wherever you are on that stage, I can help you in that journey. For some of us, we might need book branding, where it's more than just writing a book, but a brand behind it. Yes, myself and my team, I don't work alone. I have a team that helps me, because those teams help me to produce my own books anyway. And I thought, hey, why don't we use that to help other people as well? For some of you might want to launch your book either virtually or in person or a hybrid, or even the book business. Some people write a book to be able to start a business, especially if you're a professional or you're an entrepreneur. That's something to consider, but not everybody writes for a business. Whatever the case is, I'm here to be able to hold your hand and we'll walk through it. I want to tell you, book writing is one of the greatest assets you can leave for posterity. Because after your time on earth is finished, there is something about your life that is still speaking. And I hope you found this useful. Well, I am done with my information. Take these details. Feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to serve you. And I'm open for some Q&A if there are any at all. Bailey, over to you. Thank you for having me.